Okay, let's get this started. I'll just stream this for now and then afterwards I'll put it up online somewhere. Alright, so this is the playthrough of what's the new campaign, the revamped campaign is going to look like. And I'll go through a little bit of the lore as well as I'm going through this.
In the late 22nd century, humankind discovered the means to travel faster than light. Scientists named this hyperspace.
The stars were finally within reach, the human species unchained. To the stars, humanity brought art, philosophy, technology and commerce.
But where humanity goes, war follows.
In 2236, the Great War ended with the nuclear devastation of Earth.
Amongst the ashes, the great power stood as one and vowed, never again.
It has been 40 years.
40 years of Cold War.
The tinder of mistrust lies deep between the great powers.
All it needed was a single spark.
This is the Commonwealth Broadcasting Network, beaming all across the Alban Commonwealth and beyond.
Okay, so Solaris is basically the story of... I'll just turn that volume down a little bit. It's basically the story of humanity's colonized across that part of the galaxy with the discovery of hyperspace. And hyperspace comes in two parts. There's the intra-system travel, which is a lot slower, and that's what humanity found first. And then they have inter-system travel with the discovery of hyperspace lanes, and those don't know if those are naturally generated or if they're artificial. They tend to be associated with areas of huge gravitational fields, so black holes, neutron stars, star clusters, that sort of thing.
Rising tensions, Elam-Kotadnan war escalates. After several days of debate, the Atlantean Federation Congress voted yesterday to intervene in the Elam-Kotadnan war. President Fitzgerald has announced a deployment of a powerful naval strike force to the Elam Republic. The war between the relatively minor powers of the Elam Republic and Kotadnan Union continues to serve as a point of contention between the great powers of the Atlantean Federation and Solaris Combine. Combined military support for the Katahdin Union has been condemned by the Atlantean Federation as a destabilizing force in the region. However, the Alban Commonwealth Parliament on behalf of King Edward has cautioned the Atlantean Federation not to further escalate the conflict. Captain Maris Ramley, FNS Artemis, Moric System.
And this campaign puts you in the perspective of a pilot in the Federation Navy, FNS standing for Federation Naval Ship.
Orders just came through from command. The Artemis will accompany Rear Admiral Akramai's dreadnought Colossus and her battle group to the Elam Republic. We will be Task Force 55. The Artemis will be stationed at Durius, one of the Republic's major mining systems. There has been increasing incursions from Katahdin forces in the past week.
So basically the Atlantean Federation is a huge area of space that's in opposition to the Solaris Combine. They're unique among the great powers is that they're right next door to each other. And then you have these smaller powers, the Katahdin Union and the Elam Republic, which are close by. And they're having a little war of their own that the big powers are getting involved in.
Command believes that Katahdin belligerence has been encouraged by Combine military and logistical support.
Moric is the main base of 5th Fleet, and that's where he's stationed at the moment. Genquo is where some of the task force assets are based to fortify that border.
Our mission is to provide counter-assistance on the side of the Elam Republic. We can expect to take part in combat operations. The Atlantean Federation has not declared hostilities against the Solaris Combine. However, any Combine forces identified in Durius are to be assumed hostile. We're to do whatever's necessary to secure Elam citizens and infrastructure. The majority of Task Force 55 will be concentrated at the capital system of Akkad. However, additional assets will be sent to Durius as needed. We arrive at Durius in 7 days. All officers and crew are expected to be familiar with orientation material and emergency procedures before we arrive.
And intersystem hyperspace travel is obviously a lot faster than what we can achieve today, but it's still quite a bit of travel time. In this case, it'll take a week to travel from Federation space to
Captain
Elam.
Giles Cavil, CAG. Lieutenant Ross. You the new Alban exchange pilot? Cavil, wing leader. Call sign Ahab. Welcome to the Artemis.
The main characters was going to be a Federation pilot, but halfway through I changed it to be an Alban exchange pilot, just to make it more interesting and to sort of give an outsider's view of how the Federation works, and give an outsider's perspective, both as the player and as the character.
We're always happy to show Commonwealth pilots a thing or two about Federation service. Raptor McKerney is another Commonwealth pilot here on exchange. You'll meet her later. Your file shows Erskine Orbital as your last post. Carrier postings are a different beast to station duty, but you'll do fine. You'll have plenty of support while you're getting your bearings. Artemis doesn't have the air wing size or nuclear ordnance of a fleet carrier, but she's tough as nails with teeth to match. She's seen more action than any other assault carrier. There's a reason she's nicknamed Iron Lady. Looks like she'll be sinking her teeth into some Katahdin misfits. We're the only onboard squadron, a multi-role combat unit flying Viper Defenders and Hornet Strikers. As the primary strike arm of Artemis, we'll be expected to interdict enemy strike craft as well as support assaults against hostile warships. Anyway, I'll keep this short as I expect you'll be wanting to settle in. I'll see you at 0800 hours tomorrow for your orientation. Good morning, pilots. It's been a long journey, but the Artemis has finally arrived at Durius. We've taken up station at Durius Installation, the commercial and industrial hub of the system. This area has been the site of several engagements between Katahdin forces and the Elam Navy garrison. The local Censure network has been compromised. Our first priority is to re-establish this network. When this is done, we can begin combat operations in the system. Ahab and Ross, you'll be flying escort for the Sena, an Elam Navy corvette. Censure platforms have been loaded onto the corvette for deployment. If hostile forces attempt to impede, you are authorized to engage and neutralize them. Ensure the Cena does not get destroyed. Once all the Censure pickets have been deployed, Beta Wing will launch to fly cap. This will be one of our first deployments alongside the Elam Navy, so I expect you all to give a good impression. Show them how the galaxy's mightiest military does things out here.
Okay, as you know, there's three great powers. The Combine, which is made up of old Earth, space, and the oldest territories. It's heavily populated, and it's from an era where Earth was pretty much the center of Terran space. Their navy tends towards battle cruisers and heavy firepower with good alpha strike potential. Federation, which is what you're flying, and set a expansive territory, needing a lot of ships to patrol, so they tend towards smaller vessels and lots of carriers. Their specialty is fighter craft. And then there's the Commonwealth, which we're not going to meet in this campaign, but we'll meet later. This is a Federation fighter, space superiority, very agile, light armor. Has a maximum cannon, which is basically an anti-fighter machine gun, rapid firing, low damage, very, very accurate, and it's your best dogfighting weapon. And you're actually flying as Alpha 2 on this mission.
Good luck, Alpha Wing. Traffic is light out there today. Artemis, control out.
Thanks. Artemis control.
Boss, our mission will begin once we form up on the Cena. This is Commander Chill. Keep my ship safe. Don't sweat it, Commander. You're in good hands. There has been several skirmishes in the past few days. We're likely to hit trouble, so stay close.
The Elam Navy are good friends with the Federation, so they've bought a lot of equipment.
Okay, Ross, you're on. Follow my lead.
So that's why their corvettes are Federation designs. And it just makes it easier for Federation and Elam ships to work together.
This is during session. You are clear to depart. Safe journey.
I'll be playing on veteran difficulty.
See you in a few weeks. Hyperspace jump in 5 seconds. 4, 4.
At the risk of sounding cocky, I hope the Catalans do try something.
They must have seen the Artemis coming. They're brave enough to terrorize us. Let them come.
If the Combine really are giving them support, who knows what they'll do.
I'd wager this is the excuse the Combine needs to kick off a war. They still haven't forgiven us for what we did to them 40 years ago. If we don't intervene, the Cartaginian flag will go up over the Elam capital, and their Combined friends will lose access to our border territory.
This is referencing the Great War 40 years ago, when Federation won against the Combine, which was then the Solar Combine.
Looks like you've got ears, Ross. Time to show me your Commonwealth.
We basically nuked Earth, made it useless as a capital, and got a lot of territory at the end of the war. And the Solar Combine became the Solaris Combine. So it's a good demonstration of the new fighter AI. AI's had an overhaul since the last release. Fighter AI tends to be a bit more dynamic, jinking to avoid your shots. basically having more unpredictable movement. So the result is dogfights may last a bit longer.
First, Censure pictures released, confirming uplink to Darius Station.
The player may have to work a bit harder to get the kill.
Not bad. I guess you do know how to shoot.
Music's had a bit of an overhaul as well. Basically emphasised the different musical motives of the faction. We were playing this Federation, so their soundtrack tends to be more blues and rock.
Second Censor, pick it away. Dad, relay active.
You're going to get some heavy rock soundtrack with the combat.
Contact. These ones were waiting in ambush.
Right, I was a bit careless there. Try that again.
Good luck, Alpha Wing. Traffic is light out there today. Artemis, control out.
So when you're dogfighting, it is
Thanks, Artemis Control.
just critical that you use your strafe
Boss, our mission will
just to
begin
dodge
once we
shots
form
and
up on the
not
scene.
make yourself a predictable target, because the AI is going to be very good at predicting where you're going, and if you're moving in a
This is
straight line,
Commander Chiu. Keep
gonna
my
get
ship
hit.
safe.
so that reason gliding along is
Just
not going to
good,
be
Commander.
very safe.
You're in good hands. There has been several skirmishes in the past few days. We're likely to hit trouble, so stay close.
We'll keep it tight. Don't you worry about a thing.
Okay, Ross, we are on. Follow my lead, and try not to stray too far.
Aiming fire. This is Darius Station. You are clear to depart. Safe journey.
Thank you. Jones control. Jet drives are charged. See you in a few weeks. Hyperspace will be 5 seconds. 4, 3.
At the risk of sounding cocky, I hope the cat admins to try something.
They must have seen darkness coming. They're brave enough to warn us not to let them come.
If the Combined really are giving them support, who knows what they'll do.
I wager this is the excuse the Combined needs to kick off a war. They still haven't forgiven us for what we did to them 40 years ago. If we don't intervene, the Cartaginian flag will go up over the island capital, and their combined friends will have easy access to our border territory. Looks like you've gotten your wish, Ross. Time to show me your Commonwealth training. Not bad. I guess you do know how to shoot. First, Censure Picket released, confirming uplink to Darius Station.
Uplink confirmed. Sensor data local area now report. Proceed to next waypoint.
Second sensor, pick it away. Dad, relay active. Contact. These ones were waiting in ambush.
So let's
we read them. Looks like more trouble.
get repaired.
More fast movers inbound. Coming heavy with light escorts. It's time to get serious. You ready, Ross?
Alright, now we are.
Those heavy fighters are the greatest threat to the center, but the light fighters can tear you up if you are not careful. Stay quiet and try to get behind them. I've got your back.
Roger, lead. Feeling okay.
This first mission is basically just to get the hang of dogfighting.
Final sensor picked back. Making their way back.
There's still a skirmish at the end. It's just a test of whether you've got the hang of it or not. Striker AI needs a little bit of tweaking. It's not as aggressive as I'd like, but in theory they should be more focused on their targets, using more glide attacks. Their hull's thick enough to be able to
Stand down.
take
Position 1.
more fire.
Good work. We are clear. Hostiles in my ship is still in one piece.
But for some reason they're not as aggressive as I'd like.
Pilots, Beta has launched. They will take over your patrol. Return to the Artemis.
We've got it from here, Artemis. Thanks for your escort. Another successful escort. Nice flying, Ross. Let's return to base.
Hey, Alpha Wing. We figured you might need a break out there.
First two, we will get to the action raptor. There might be some left for you if you work hard enough.
Give me a nice quiet shift anytime. I'm happy for you to do all the work. Beta 2, on me. Looks like Alpha Wings left the place tidy for us.
I was hoping to shoot something today.
Bungie calls it a wasted day if she hasn't reached 3 kills by record.
With all due respect, screw you, Ahab.
You see what I have to work with, Ross? None of the Commonwealth discipline I'm used to.
Sounds terrible, Raptor. I'm sure you'll get used to it.
Intel data is already coming in from those sensor pickets. Good work. Those eyes out there will help us in our operations against Kotadnan forces. You two handled those hostile wings well. Command believes these are advanced scout parties of the main invasion force. Expect heavier enemy presence over the next few days as we engage the bulk of the incursion. Hopefully today's patrol marks the first of many operations alongside the Elam Navy. We're to stay in Durius. Rear Admiral Akramai has authorized a reconnaissance in force to flush out and engage other Kotadnan assets. Mission starts at 0700 hours. Rest up until then. Mission successful.
Okay, just checking something quickly. Alright.
International situation destabilizes. International situation destabilizes. The Atlantean Federation has expelled all remaining Solaris combined diplomatic staff from its embassies. Relations between the superpowers are at their lowest since the Great War. The Combine Archon has dismissed accusations of regional destabilization as a pretext for Federation belligerency. The Alban Commonwealth has urged both sides to show restraint as the rhetoric between both governments continues to escalate. Elsewhere, border skirmishes between Siamileu and Sine forces continue despite the presence of Commonwealth warships sent to maintain order. Critical trade lanes have been compromised as a result of the violence. There are fears the international situation is rapidly spiraling out of control. The Kotadnans have responded to the arrival of the Artemis by escalating strike craft incursions into the Durius asteroid belt. It looks like they didn't take the hint. Scout patrols have encountered Kotadnan fighter and strike craft wings supported by light units of the Goril Carrier Strike Group. The Artemis will undertake a search and destroy mission to wipe them out. The search area is in a dense asteroid field with significantly variable object velocity. This is a hazardous environment. The weapons systems on the Artemis can intercept incoming asteroids, but Alpha Wing is to help clear a path through the field. Ahab and Ross, you're on Alpha. You'll be first out to escort the Artemis. Raptor, Punchy, you're on Beta. You'll be on standby pending successful identification of enemy assets. If you encounter any Kotadnan or combined forces, you are free to engage. Beta Wing will launch a strike mission if any major enemy asset is identified. Mission success is contingent on identification and destruction of hostile assets.
Okay, so this mission introduces anti-capital ship combat. And introduces the striker fighter, which is what Beta Wing will be flying. Strikers use a anti-subsystem cannon, which is a little bit higher caliber than their machine gun.
Artemis entering asteroid field. Alpha, cover our patrol.
Artemis, you have more sensors to monitor. Turn the station on.
Stay alert. There's heavy sensor interference everywhere. We won't see anyone until they're right on top of us.
You're starting to make quite an impression, Ross. Commonwealth pilot training deserves its reputation.
Yeah, you're almost as good as Raptor.
Now I know I've finally been accepted when Punchy compliments my flying.
We still need to get you a call sign. What did you fly with your last posting?
I was Razor, sir. Got the name after flying too close to the station during a scan-off. clipped off a couple of the sensor antennas. Never lived it down.
Razor. Fair enough. If you earn it by the next naming, you can keep it. Heads up. Possible enemy contact. Unidentified signals closing in fast. Contact. Gunboats with fighter attack course on attack vector.
Okay, starting small with just a couple of gunboats. It's just also an illustration of what your cannons can and can't do. As you knew in the last mission, you can take out fighters pretty good. The maximum machine gun. But as you can see, not so good against ship grade armor.
Fighter escort neutralized. Count the Artemis against those gunboat threats.
But you can chip away at warship turrets, especially if they're lightly armored like these ones. As you can see, most of the damage towards these gunboats' hulls come from big cruisers, guns.
Hostiles neutralized. Good work. Maintain vigilance.
Refill our bullet supply.
Hope you're not bored down in the hangar, Raptor. It's been nothing but action out here.
It's been torture, Ross.
Some people get all the luck factor.
You were the one who volunteered for strike duty.
Strike duty lets me kill the most people in the fewest shots. It's efficient.
I told you, warship crew kills don't go towards your kill count.
Whatever. You're just jealous because you weren't the one to beat the system?
Got a second wave inbound. Might be another patrol wing.
Alert. Strike wing on sensors. All hands brace for incoming fire.
This was the same heavy fighters that you fought in the last mission, but obviously because the Artemis is much heavier armoured, there was much crippling damage against it as they would with that vet.
We've made contact with a major hostile asset. Launching beta for a strike mission.
This is Beta. Type remain gun storage for design.
Yes, this is an old type destroyer, which is basically a supersized gunboat.
Beta 2. Watch out for leader wind. Air flying towards gem fighters.
There's 12 small caliber mass
Looks
drivers.
more like Alpha's problem. Get to the Razor.
And you'll be able to see the difference between Federation doctrine and other nations. Federation ships are there to hold the line, whilst the fighters do the heavy lifting. So they tend to favour rapid firing small caliber autocannons just to chip away at enemy warships. There's other nations who have higher caliber but slower firing mass drivers to do huge amounts of damage at a time. Strike damage, but they might not necessarily outlast extended effect. So let's get rid of these fighters first.
Stress fractures developing in critical support areas. Impound teams are en route.
AI uses the fighter's agility a lot better. That's why this one's taking a while to die. There's not much auto-aim on veteran difficulty.
The fighters were definitely surprised then. Ross, help out things with the destroyer.
There was much
Tab
against
is
this
moving to
guy's
disengage,
main guns,
picking
but
up an energy buildup. She's screwing impellers.
it's pretty much a self-playing battle anyway. Action battles. That's just an illustration of how they usually play out.
The Tadna has retreated. All pilots, stand by. We're contacting command.
Command, this is Captain Ramlin. We've resolved a major engagement, but have sustained damage.
Artemis Actual. The situation in Jonas has escalated. Rear Admiral Edwin was deploying the Freespace to your position for support. Make your way back to Jonas installation for repairs and awaiting other reinforcements. Command out.
Acknowledged command, Artemis out. All pilots return to base. Our work is done here.
Ross, let's head back.
That was commendable flying under difficult conditions, pilots. Our recon in force flushed out the destroyer Tadna and forced an engagement, crippling the warship and driving her off. The destruction of the patrol wings will also degrade Tadnan presence in the asteroid field, allowing us to deploy scouts of our own into the field. We've scored a major victory today, but it looks like our work here has only begun. Admiral Akramai has deployed the destroyer Euphrates to link up with the Artemis in response to Tadnan's strategic movements in Durius. It looks like a major Tadnan invasion of Durius is imminent. Reconnaissance wings have already started combing the asteroid field for Tadnan forces. Once the Artemis is repaired and the Euphrates arrives, we'll be able to move against them. Mission successful. Captain Giles Cavell, CAG. Lieutenant Ross. Just wanted to check in. We're about to see some serious action and I need to know if you're up to the task. The Euphrates just pulled into Durius Station. What a beauty. Smaller than the Artemis but just as deadly. Captain Ramley's making final preparations for Operation Chromite. This is going to be the final decisive engagement to finish off Kotadnan forces in Durius. Admiral Akrami's Colossus is mopping up the rest of the Kotadnan rabble in Akkad. The Combine are making a lot of noise about us bloodying their friends. Let's see if they've got the guts to follow through. Back to business. I've been told you are cleared to fly Hornets. The birds beta flew in the last sortie. Hornets are strike fighters best at taking out warship subsystems and turrets. They're tougher than Vipers but aren't as nimble. You let yourself get into a turning fight against enemy fighters, you're not coming back alive. Never engage the enemy in a Hornet without support, you hear me? Just needed to make sure. I'll see you at the briefing. All right, pilots. This is why you enlisted in the Federation Navy. It's time we went on the offensive. At 1,255 hours, the Euphrates arrived in Durius. The destroyer will support the Artemis as a part of a carrier strike group. 2 Elam Navy corvettes have also been placed under joint command for this operation. Our scouts have identified the carrier Goril, command ship of the Durius invasion force. The Goril is accompanied by 2 support carriers, a wing of gunboats and light attack craft. They've taken up station deep in the asteroid field, and we expect them to move against Durius installation soon. Admiral Akrami has authorized the initiation of Operation Chromite. Our mission, the elimination of the Kotadnan battle group in Durius. Our strike group will consist of the Artemis, Euphrates, and 2 Elam Navy corvettes all flying in close support. Our ships are to punch through the Kotadnan light units screening the Goril before engaging the carrier herself. The Goril is armed with heavy anti-ship cruise missiles capable of doing significant damage against our ships. Maintaining a good fighter screen will be crucial to nullifying this threat. Ahab, Ross, and Preacher will make up Alpha Wing flying Hornet strikers. Raptor, Punchy, and Hoser are in Viper fighters as Beta Wing. This operation will secure Durius for the Elam Republic and cripple a large portion of the Kotadnan Navy.
Alright, so this is basically a tutorial on how to fly strike fighters. They carry heavy cannons and a lot of them, but to sacrifice, they move like a brick. But they can take about the same damage as a brick as well.
Upon mission success, the Artemis and Euphrates will return to Durius Station to await further orders.
This is emphasizing a different form of combat. You have to ignore enemy fighters and wait till they're engaged before you jump in, because otherwise you're not going to get out of there alive. So you have to watch what Beta Wing are doing, let them go ahead, and then once the screening fighters are occupied, then you can move in. This is an anti-subsystem cannon. Shell velocity is a bit slower than with the machine gun, so you're not going to be able to hit fighters as much. It's not a dogfighting ship. You can do limited dogfights against other strikers, but against fighters, it's best to leave them alone. Unless you get lucky. Because when you do get a Gatler shot in against fighters, they're going to do a lot of damage.
Steady ahead, Euphrates. You are authorized weapons free.
Alpha, Beta, tally 2 locks, making an attack run. Engage at will.
That's the Cena from the first mission.
Alpha, we'll engage airfighter escort. Once we split and engage, hit those clickers.
This is a Federation destroyer. Basically an anti-ship. Warship.
Beta, engage Scorpio wing. Keep them off Alpha.
Okay, Beta said they're going in, so now you can move in and attack the lats. are basically small warships with heavy cannons. Very thick armor. Not going to be able to damage them much fighters, but the strikers you should be able to damage them. And they're different from bombers in that their primary armament is cannons rather than missile warheads.
That's got everything down.
Heads up, we've got incoming.
Nothing much else for me to shoot at. Engage the strikers.
Tactical systems are tracking the forward. We will provide counter-fire on the vector.
Landing on our side.
Colleague gunboat is the direct course to the Arctic. Don't let it get too close.
As you can see,
Gunboat red is neutralized.
compared to the mission
Continue
before,
approach.
your heavy cannons do a lot more damage to gunboats than your Maxims.
Fuck, that was intense.
The Southampton attack has started. Taking frequent loss.
You can't target the ships because the theory is, asteroids are scrambling your sensors.
Hostile warship in close proximity. Dorsal guns target the destroyer.
And in
Those
theory you
crazy
shouldn't be able to
bastards
navigate.
jumping into an asteroid field without good interference. They're looking to be alive.
Not land for much longer. Split engage.
Another thing you'll notice in this mission is destroyer takes a lot less time to go down as well. Because of the Gatler cannons.
They just threw the destroyer away. Wasteful idiot. You're now in range of the carry out javelin missiles. One defense system set to free fire.
Where's the Catalan fleet? A lot of firepower there, so super close to the abilities of Artemis.
Throughout the campaign there's many messages reminding you don't go out there chasing enemies by yourself.
Take out their point defenses before they shred us apart.
Stick with enemy ships, cap ships, and don't fight without support. That's how you stay alive.
Ariel is closing to CQB. Pilots neutralize her turrets.
Gatlers as well as they generate a lot of heat, so you can't continuous firing for a while.
We've got a clear run to the aerial. Target and destroy the carrier's business silo.
Watch out for that. See if we can black turrets on the cargo barrier.
This mission also highlights how just flying there without support. Okay.
Watch your back.
So highlights how strong the ASMs can be. Tear up your ships really quickly if you don't.
Watch your back.
Why is no one covering me?
Rob, get yourself clear of all the support burn.
It's a silo.
We can confirm neutralization of aerial missile silo.
Your role here is just basically tear up any of the turrets you can see. Just minimize damage against your enemy ships.
Artemis, this is Euphrates actual. Total integrity is compromised. We will stay as long as we can.
Good hits on Ariel. She's venting atmosphere.
If you want, you can take out the astrogation systems, stop them from jumping. It's a lot easier
I'll
than
see
taking
you
out
in
their
hell.
weapons. We'll get time. There we go. Same to these ships.
The Ariel has been destroyed.
Yep, that's basically Federation doctrine. Throw enough shit at the enemy, something's gonna stick. No subtlety, just lots and lots of data.
All wings, mission complete. No enemy signatures on sensors. Bring your birds in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we've just kicked the ass of an entire Caltevans strike group.
Agreed. You all flew almost as well as Commonwealth pilots.
Let's not go too crazy on the praise here, Raptor.
Welcome back, pilots. That was a performance to make the Iron Lady proud. The Katahdin fleet is broken and the Elam Navy is chasing the remnants out of Durius. I have informed Rear Admiral Akramai that our mission in Durius was a success. The Euphrates and Artemis will spend the next week undergoing repairs at Durius installation. I've authorized leave for the ship's staff and air crew. Ahab, I hear our newest pilots are yet to receive call signs. Take the opportunity to hold a naming. Durius installation has decent recreational facilities, just keep the noise down. Once our ships are combat ready again, we'll be joining up with the rest of the task group at Akkad to mop up the rest of the Katahdin forces there. Mission successful.
Hey.
Katahdin forces defeated at Akkad. Major engagements in Durius and Akkad saw attacking Katahdin Union forces defeated by the Republic Federation coalition. In Akkad, the Katahdin flagship Algaza was destroyed along with several major warships.
Bit of a shame we missed that. Would have
Atlantean
been nice to be
President
there.
Fitzgerald is expected to release a press statement later today outlining future military action in the Elam-Katahdin War. A declaration of victory is widely expected to be in the statement. In response, combined warships have garrisoned the systems of Alphard and Actium as part of a massive military buildup along the border of Combine and Federation space. Archon Sarshar defended the action in a press announcement today.
Okay, Archon Shasha's the leader of the Solaris Combine. Maybe I can make that a bit more obvious.
I will not sit by while the Atlantean Federation continues to threaten our systems. This is a proportionate response to the Federation's flagrant disregard for international order.
Yeah, you tell
The
them.
people of the Solaris Combine would expect no less. Parliamentary spokesperson for the Alban Commonwealth Shona Kase warned that time was running out for a diplomatic solution to the crisis. There will be no victors if this leads to war between two of the largest powers in the galaxy. No nation, large or small, will escape its monstrous reach. We are 40 years from Earth's devastation, yet risk repeating the past if we stay this course. This development is the latest in a series of provocations. What strikes many political analysts is how easily the two powers fall back to old patterns of behavior. The conflict of ideologies that sustained the Great War are as bitterly fought today as they were 40 years ago.
It's almost as if the end of the Great War didn't actually fix anything.
Captain Maris Ramley, FNS Artemis, Durius System. Alright. Back to business. The Elam-Katahdin War may be wrapping up, but it looks like the Solaris Combine isn't done with the Elamites yet. New orders have come from Command. The Iron Lady is being deployed to the Myra neutron star, located at the fringes of Elam space. Intelligence data reports that the Combine have established a base in the system in violation of Republic sovereign territory. Our orders are to confirm the presence of the base, secure the area and board the station to find out what the Solaris Combine was planning in the system. Once the operation is complete, we are to return to Durius and await further orders. Now you should know that Command believes our actions will be the first shots in a new Great War. A lot of us saw this coming, and I know you're all ready for this. We're part of the greatest military this galaxy has ever seen. If we do this right, we'll smash the Combine war machine and show the Combine they started a fight that they can't win. Welcome to Myra, pilots. No inhabitable planets, scant resources, and no reason for anyone to stay any longer than they need to. Your guess is as good as mine why the Combine have set up shop here. Our job is to find out why. We've confirmed the location of a Combine base in Myra and will proceed to secure the station. 5th Fleet Command has deployed the Marine Transport Sycorax to join us in Myra. The aviation cruiser Semper Victoria is holding station at the base.
Okay, this is the first mission where you're actually going up against the main antagonists of the campaign, and you get an idea of how they fight.
The firepower of the Artemis should be enough to resolve an engagement in our favor. Integral to this will be the neutralization of the Semper Victoria's Javelin ASM battery and air wing. Once the area is secure, the Sycorax will perform a boarding action against the station. Your job will be to cover the boarding operation against further Combine attack. Razor, you're with Ahab on Alpha. Congratulations on the call sign. Raptor and Coat are Beta. Punchy and Soap will make up Gamma.
The theory being that the Combine like to have fewer but more powerful weapons and larger caliber, and a lot of Javelin ASM silos. The weakness of that is once you take out those heavy weapons, there's not much else for them to attack with. Because the Federation have gone the other way, they like to have lots of smaller caliber weapons peppered across their warship's hull, which makes it a bit trickier to disarm their firepower completely. There's a bit more redundancy. Be flying with Hornets again, and this mission is just another demonstration of how to fly a striker against enemy warships and take out their heavy weapon systems.
Action stations. All stations confirm combat readiness. strike wings, intercept incoming javelins. Disable Semper Victoria's missile silo at first opportunity.
Damn in the battle.
That doesn't mean rush in and disable it straight away. You have to find the right opportunity.
Go fangs out.
Like for example, if I was to go in and do it now without support. Order my wingmen to support me.
Roger.
You'll be able to tank a few shots from the PDCs.
Semper Victoria javelin silo disabled.
As soon as you do that, you're going to get ganged up on by fighters. And you're not going to win in a dogfight.
This bastard's so tired. I need help here.
They travel so slow, the lead time is huge. So you're not going to be able to hit
You're taking significant damage from the Semper Victoria's guns. Target your heavy weapons.
better than expected. Maybe I need to make it a bit more punishing. See if we can take out the extrogation on this one as well.
I need a scavenge sealant.
Energy buildup detected on Semper Victoria. She's spooling her drives.
Not going anywhere.
Cruiser neutralized. The area is secure. Good work. Zigurax, this is Artemis Control. Hostiles neutralized. Your approach is clear.
Zigurax on station. Your assistance is appreciated, Artemis.
Roger.
And 40 years later, Enterprise still can't match us in a fight.
Hey Ahab, there is talk going round of the big up at Warwick. Something about an abandoned complainant agent.
It's a huge raptor. Most of Fifth Fleet is there. It's the largest clustering of ships since the Great War.
Shite. So it's big then? Like, all or nothing big?
All or nothing for the Combined. Not for us. Our Navy outnumbers them 3 ships to 1.
Docking clamps secured. Preparing breaching charges.
Combat one fight, will oblige the bastards. You'll give them another hammering like last time.
Damn, I'd give anything to be there when the ship finally goes down. It's going to make the entire element war look like a skirmish in comparison.
Solaris is just power hungry. He's a megalomaniac.
Or else he thinks he can defuse your fate somehow. Don't just dismiss him as a madman.
Fine light carrier on station. Looks like there is still plenty of action for us.
Alright.
More
Any
fighters
possibility
to
of
deal.
fighters in the area
Keep them
whilst
off
you're
the
flying one
grass.
of these? Just,
Someone get this
stay
piece of
away.
shite off my back.
Wait for other people to engage them, and then maybe chip in a bit of firepower if you can. Not gonna win a dogfight. Not one-on-one anyway.
Artemis Control. Alvarines have secured station COC. Mostly non-combatants encountered. No casualties.
You don't want to get caught out in the open as well.
This looks like a research facility. We're transferring all data from their computer banks. Stand by. Someone get this piece of shite off my
Alert. Combine battle cruiser on station.
Roger. Ignoring your target.
This is what I mean about alpha strike
undergoing
damage.
emergency unclamping procedure.
These ships are the mainstay of the combined fleet. Two massive cannons at the front,
Piloting support drone.
and an ASM battery. Just don't want to get in front of one of these things.
Sycorax transport has jumped. We don't have the firepower to challenge that warship. Moving to disengage. Pilots, bring your birds in for landing. We're spooling our jump impeller.
All right. Settle down, pilots. From the noise, I gather you've heard the news. Shortly after you touched down, the Solaris Combine announced their withdrawal from the Miranda Accords and declared hostilities on the Federation. Your performance today was commendable. Despite running into half the Combine fleet, we managed to secure a data cache from their research base. Analysts are already at work decoding the contents, and I'm told the revelations will be shared on a need-to-know basis. I'm placing the Artemis on extended condition 2 in accordance with orders by Rear Admiral Akramai, and the Iron Lady will return to Durius. Jump 5 shift rotations will be posted out over the next hour. Now that we know the Combine are using Myra as a staging area, we expect the Combine to move against our forces in Elam space shortly. I've been advised that most of the Sycorax's marine company was still on board the station when the Sycorax was forced to withdraw. We shall remember their sacrifice.
Also forgot to mention, those who are sharp-eyed will probably remember that station in the background from the initial cutscene
Mission successful.
where the Combine carrier attacked a station.
Rear Admiral Theodore Akramai, CINC Task Force 55, ACAD System. This is Rear Admiral Akramai to all personnel serving Task Force 55. This is a priority communique. A Combine battle group led by the carrier Excelsior has attacked Elam and Federation positions throughout Elam space. Task Force 55 has exchanged weapons fire with Combine warships. These are the first confrontations of a Cold War gone hot. We've taken casualties, but we've given just as good as we got. The Combine have finally shown their hand. Now it's time to finish this game. This is it, people. The Combine have thrown down the gauntlet and invaded Durius as part of a coordinated multi-system action. The Combine command ship Excelsior is 15 clicks out and is launching strike wings against Durius installation. The carrier is also moving to bring the station to within range of her Javelin ASMs. Be advised that the Excelsior is a capital ship, and is armed with nuclear weapons.
Well, this mission's an introduction to capital ships, specifically what weapons they have. Nuclear weapons. As per treaty, no ship is allowed to have nuclear weapons except for the largest warships.
I don't need to tell you to target her EOS missiles as a priority if she uses them.
And this is by treaty rather than by economics or logistics. Just because nukes were free flying in the Great War and everyone was horrified at how much damage was done.
Rear Admiral Akrami's Colossus has been diverted from Akkad to provide support. We need to hold our ground long enough for reinforcements to arrive. However, FTL sensors also report hostile attack ships converging on our position. It is likely these Combine reinforcements will arrive before the Colossus does. We'll be outnumbered and outgunned for most of this battle, but Durius installation does not fall, understand? The fort must hold. Everyone that's fit to fly goes out today. We need all hands on deck and everyone at their best. Get to your fighters. You've got this. You're good enough for this. Go make the Iron Lady proud.
Alright, so this mission is basically a combination of everything that you've picked up along the previous missions. And there's a lot to do in this mission. And the craft, you actually get a choice of craft in this one. You'll be flying as Alpha 2. And the craft that you pick will determine what role you'll play. So if you're just interested in dogfighting fighters, pick up a Viper. If you want to take out some of the carrier's subsystems and limit damage against your ships, you take a Striker. And I've just thrown this in there as an interceptor. Player hasn't had a chance to buy one of these yet, but they're good against intercepting anti-ship missiles and nuclear bombers. And their Vulcan cannon is sort of a nice little halfway between the Maxim and their Gatler in terms of utility. So it's not as good as dogfighting as the Maxim, and not as good as subsystems as the Gatler, but I think we'll stick with the Viper today, just because dogfighting is more fun.
All pilots break. Then combat range. Vector approach.
There's a lot of enemy fighters in this mission.
Incoming combined heavy fighters. Keep them away from our weapon system.
Gamma Wing, fans out.
That was Superiority. Inbound enemy fighters.
Alert, pilots. The Excelsior has deployed tactical nuclear bombers, designation Lyra. Prioritize that win.
Scorpio in spot. Sailors, there's no reason coming.
Right, so this is the heavy strike wing. Strikers and blacks. Combined strikers fire grenade launchers and fire grenades. They get charged.
I'm on him.
But in theory, you should be able to avoid them by jinking in and out.
Someone want to take out those nuclear bombers before they hit the Artemis.
Now don't get too distracted by these. They do a lot of damage, but not as much as
Combine warship approaching
bombers.
javelin range. Watch for incoming ASMs.
I'm on him.
Fuck these bastards.
Always bring backup with you
Don't
and
let
attack their
Aquarius
bomber.
will distract you from those javelins.
Those bombers are a big deal in Solaris. They're tough to take down. You're gonna need some friends along.
Incoming swarm munitions. The heavy bombers have dropped their payload.
On my way.
Doesn't mean you can ignore javelins as well, because they'll do a number on the Artemis. This is a new type of fighter, the Interceptor. More heavily armoured than the fighters, but not as agile. And the AI doesn't tend to dupe him out as much, so it should be a bit easier to hit.
Radiological alarm. Detecting active nuclear signatures on Excelsior. She's launching EOS missiles.
So nukes you basically can't ignore, you just have to hit them as soon as you can.
You're on the threat axis. Break clear. I'm on him.
Someone's on your tail,
Go defensive now.
get someone else
We're
to
moving to
take
engage
them
the
out for you.
Excelsior in CQB. All wings support our advance.
Now I'm putting a line here about the Artemis going into CQB because combined missiles have a minimum range and they won't be able to target her if they go in too close. Generally Federation ships tend to do better up close, combined ships tend to do better at distance. She's not just being suicidal, going up against a heavy carrier.
A destroyer wolf pack has arrived. You're being overwhelmed.
New targets coming in.
Cartman, this is Captain Zhao. My ship's taking a unit. Sure how long we can remain in position. Superiority. Support. I'm calling.
Acknowledged Euphrates actual. Get your ship clear. We'll cover your escape.
Appreciate the offer, Cartman. Moving jump drive now. Godspeed and thanks.
Pilots,
strikers are going to be
redouble your
the
efforts.
biggest threat to
Just
your...
need to hold on a bit longer.
Not much I can do against the destroyers and the fighter, but if I was flying a striker, I could probably do something about that.
You got real life bombing on clusters. We are engaging in unvoiced.
Now we get to see Federation cap ships in action.
Alert! Excelsior has launched another nuclear cell Alpha, all wings prioritize their interception.
We need more of that.
So don't let me become the one you're not. 'Cause I'll just take your blood and use you up. I know it's tempting to jump off the edge and die, but this is not a dream.
Situation desperate. Mia says, I'll see you in hell. Heavy damage from our main guns. Give another stab. Later, hold over.
Carrier can do a bit of damage with their missiles, but it's pretty much outmatched against the battleship. The battleship also has nukes.
Set all batteries to fire targets of opportunity. Time to clean up.
I finally found what I was looking for. A place where I can be without remorse. Because I am a stranger who is bound in even stranger war. I finally found what I was looking for. Here I come. Le chaleur me dérange. Mais c'est le grand ciment du bateau qui m'a réveillé. Sharpen the knife and look down upon the bay. For my life.
Not much I can do as a fighter except sit back and enjoy the show.
I've come here from nowhere, 'cause the unforgiving sea, drifting further and further. It's all becoming clear to me that violent winds are.
This is Colossus Actual. Captain Rambling, what is your status?
We are damaged, but critical systems still intact. Minimal civilian losses on Darius Station.
The Colossus will take over garrison duties. Stand down condition while the doctor repairs.
Acknowledged Colossus. All pilots return to base.
And one thing you may notice about Federation ships is they don't have any ASMs. Not even the dreadnoughts. Theory behind that is that ASMs are unreliable and can be shot down, whereas it's a bit harder to shoot down lots and lots of
Okay, everyone,
shells.
gather round. Razor, you two. Cook.
Okay, this
over.
debriefing
Mission
is just going to get
successful.
rewritten. It's just basically saying that Ahab's a bit sick, and I may put something in about the war situation in Morik, or putting the whole sort of conflict in perspective. Some of the models have been updated, so I
Admiral
may need to do
Akromai
that
FNS
cutscene again.
Colossus. Durius system.
That still has some old ship models in it from the first release.
This is Rear Admiral Akramai. I bring grave news. 2 hours ago we lost FTL comms with 5th Fleet Command. All outbound communications traffic from Morik have ceased. 30 minutes ago, long-range sensors detected a significant cosmological event in the Morik system. A massive energy burst was detected, powerful enough to cause shockwaves through hyperspace. My analysts believe this is the cause of the comms blackout. I can only conclude that some disaster appears to have happened at Morik. I am authorizing a reconnaissance mission to the system. Morik is a critical military and industrial hub, and was home to the bulk of 5th Fleet. It is imperative we re-establish contact with the system and our fleet. The outcome of this conflict depends on this.
And it was also the system of an Earth-like planet colony. Those are pretty valuable in Terran space, because colonization was done through hyperspace lanes. So while there may be tens of thousands of Earth-like planets in the Orion Arm itself, you can't actually get to them. You can only get to a few via the hyperspace lanes.
Captain Ramley, FNS Artemis, Durius system. Admiral Akramai is deploying the Artemis to the Morik system for a recon mission. Though the Artemis is fully repaired and combat capable, we're going into this mission under strength. Commander Cavill is still on medical leave, and we still await pilot replenishment to bring our wings back up to strength. Despite these setbacks, I know we are more than capable of performing this mission. Deck crews will notice the new complement of Thunderbolt interceptors. Our mission parameters have changed. With the escalating conflict, we are progressing into an ASM heavy combat environment with Combine warships. This contrasts with the fighter-heavy combat of the Elam-Kotadnan War. The journey to Morik will take several days. Updates will be forthcoming as soon as they're available. Giles Cavill, CAG. Hey Ross. Looks like I'll be stuck in Durius Installation Medbay for a while. The medics tell me I'm still on enforced sick leave.
Okay, a bit of a minor story change here. I've made Ahab stay behind at Durius, so that he isn't there to go with the Artemis when the mission gets for the next mission.
I got a report from forensics after they dug through my bird. Looks like a Combine shell tore through the air filter and gave me a dose of waste emissions before the safeties kicked in. Anyway, I may grumble, but I'm counting my lucky stars I'm still here. Doing better than a lot of other people. Not making me any less impatient to be back in the cockpit. Don't get into too much trouble out there while I'm down, okay? Mimi Punchy Bertone. Hi Razor. I'm leaving the Artemis and joining up with the Colossus Fighter Squadron. Everyone gets a goodbye note. This is yours.
Another change to the story. Punchy doesn't come along with you to with the Artemis. She leaves and joins up with another ship, so she's left behind in Durius as well.
We haven't really talked much, but you seem like a good guy. You're an Alban like Raptor, so you get bonus points. Take care of Raptor while I'm gone, okay? You let anything happen to her, I'll come find you and kick your ass. Okay Razor. I'll see you round. Raptor, Razor. Our two Alban representatives. Welcome.
As it so happens, the only two pilots left that can actually fly aren't actually from the Federation.
We have arrived in the midst of a debris field. Positioning reads correct. We should be in the vicinity of 5th Fleet headquarters. Instead there's rubble. The planet Bulwark was a temperate Earth-like planet with a thriving planetary infrastructure. Nothing's left on the surface but molten rock. Initial sensor readings indicate the area contains massive gravitational shifts within a relatively localized area in space. Shear forces have caused extreme tectonic friction on the planet's surface.
Barton says, why the changes to punch in Ahab? Just basically plan to use those characters later.
This appears to be the result of a massive
Got storyline.
temporary
Still important
gravity
to the
well in close
storyline.
proximity to the planet. We have no idea what caused this, nor whether this is some sort of new combine weapon. This is a disaster of unprecedented scale, but we have our mission. You two will fly as Alpha Wing. Waypoint coordinates will be sent to your ships. They will be visible on your HUD and will show up sequentially as you move through each waypoint. Patrol the area, scan for survivors, and identify anything that may give us a clue as to what happened here. Black boxes, sensor picket data, energy traces. If there's anything out there, find it.
Alright, so this one you can choose which one you fly as well. Just because flying the Interceptor is a bit of a pain in this mission. There's no real role for it, but you can give it a try if you want. I'm a big fan of fighters, so I'm gonna go with that for this mission. Big advantage of Interceptors is they're a lot faster. You can dictate the terms of engagement by being basically outrunning anything else you're going to find on there. They carry Vulcans, which are a little bit heavier than machine guns. Better at strike duty than Maxims, not as good at dogfighting. Better at dogfighting than Gattlers, not as good at strike missions.
Alpha Wing, clear of Hangar Bay, ready to begin patrol.
This is a disaster. So many people killed. How did this happen?
Alpha, we're sending you the coordinates of your first waypoint. Come back safe.
Watch out, Raptor. The area is full of gravitational eddies. Could get a little bumpy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Artemis, first waypoint reached. Looks like the remains of Fleet HQ station. No survivors. Nothing but debris.
Acknowledge, proceed to your next waypoint. Continue active scans.
Look for survivors, they said. How can anyone survive this? Crazy. Something's not right about this.
What do you mean?
If this was a battle that the Federation lost, where is the combined debris? It's like they were never here. Even if it was a surprise attack, some of their ships must have fought back.
It's the Federation supercarrier. You only really see it in a cutscene and as part of debris.
That's the Prometheus. Admiral Matoyan's flagship. No survivors. No beacon.
Message received, Alpha. Proceed to the next waypoint.
Turn up again later in the story. These guys got an AI boost as well, so they can properly claim to be the elite of the elite. do this without cover. Let's see how well I do. The only way you're going to go one-on-one against these guys is by jinking and jinking often. You want to be as unpredictable a target as possible.
That's the Prometheus. Admiral Toyama's flagship. No survivors. No beacon.
Message received, Alpha. Proceed to the next waypoint.
And there's a debris of a carrier nearby if you wanted to use that as cover. Going up against Raptor. I'll just sneak in. Get these guys below 20 because then they bog out.
That's the Prometheus. Admiral Toyama's flagship. No survivors. No beacon.
Message received, Alpha. Proceed to the next waypoint.
To play with them for a while. Really need to be aware where both of them are at all times. He's gone.
What the hell were they? It's like they were blinking in and out of contact.
Combined hunters, the elite of the elite. They fight stealth birds with cloaking devices. They were waiting in ambush, which means they were expecting us.
What? Why would they be expecting us?
Not of specifically raising. They were waiting for more Federation ships to arrive.
And now they know we're here. Raptor, on me. We need to head back to...
Combined battlecruiser in combat range. Set condition 1 throughout the ship. All hands abandon ship.
So the Artemis, which survived going up against multiple gunships at a time, going up against a combined carrier, destroyer warpack, was destroyed with 4 salvos of the Battle Cruiser's main guns. So it's just an indicator of how much damage the ships can do in a short amount of time. It's really the weakness of Federation ships. If you can get them catch them by surprise, then they go down quickly.
We'll need to get out of this debris field to get a clear signal out on the Raptor. Yeah, me too.
I've decided to keep the glide max speed as it is, because this game is pretty much about giving the player as much mobility as possible. And the amount of time you take to travel from one point to another isn't really that important. So that's why gliding at max speed is the thing.
We're clear. Sending automated distress signal now.
Lieutenant McCurney. Lieutenant Ross. Watch the space, the flight deck is a mess right now. Captain Lancaster, FNS Longview. I'm sorry for your loss. The Artemis was a fine ship, and her reputation was well known. One more casualty of the Combine war machine. Fifth Fleet has been pulverized by the Combine. I lead what little is left. The Combine have initiated a full-scale invasion of Morik and we're continuing the fight as best as we can. It's a real mess out here. I've authorized your transfer to the Longview. Any assistance you two could give would be greatly appreciated. The Longview's air wing is critically short of equipment and personnel, and 2 experienced pilots like yourself would make a world of difference. Get some rest in the meantime. Use what time you have to grieve. I'll call on you when I need you.
Alright, and this next set of missions is just an illustration of how the Federation war machine collapses when it gets
Captain
caught out of
Lancaster,
surprise.
FNS Longview, Morik system.
And it's forced to fight a war that it wasn't designed to fight.
Lieutenant, I've had the exec bring you into the Longview roster. You should now have system access. There is much to do and little time to do it. The following is a summary of events. 5 days ago a major engagement took place at Bulwark which resulted in the utter destruction of Fifth Fleet, and the devastation of Bulwark's surface. We call this the Cataclysm. The Combine deployed a weapons platform never before encountered. All reports suggest it was some sort of super weapon of immense power. 2 hours after the Cataclysm, Combined forces moved into Morik from Actium and seized strategic assets throughout the system. Admiral Lukgia Romanowska and her command ship Imperatrix leads the Combine occupation, but we have no intel on her location.
Remember, the Imperatrix was the carrier from the first cutscene as well.
Morik is saturated with hyperspace interference, making intersystem communications impossible. I've had to deploy couriers out to Shenkuo, Akkad, and Lincoln to establish contact with other Federation task groups.
So Shenkuo is where the Osiris is, with Task Force 57. Akkad, if you remember, was in the Elam Republic, where the Colossus is. And Lincoln is another Federation fleet base.
Once reinforcements arrive from these systems, we can assault Romanowska and her super weapon, and take back Morik from the Combine. That all comes later. For now I have a mission for you. Briefing is at 1330 HRS. Lieutenant Ross. Lieutenant McCurney. Thank you for coming. Our target is Juliet Base, the command center for Federation Defense Intelligence on Bulwark. Recon sweeps suggest that Juliet Base survived the cataclysm, abandoned but intact.
So this is the planet that got blown up and is just now a pile of lava.
Juliet holds the Myra data retrieved by the Psychorics and is also a major storage depot for 5th Fleet. We believe the Myra data contains crucial information related to the Cataclysm weapon. The storage depot also has supplies we desperately need. Commander Basto will be leading this mission from the heavy transport Rocinante. You are to launch your interceptors from her hangar once she is on location. The engineering shuttle Uriel will accompany the Rocinante along with the personnel transport Phoenix. Your mission is to patrol Juliet and clear the area. When this is done, the shuttles will dock to secure the base. The Uriel will dock with the energy hub to restore power. Once the command center is powered and online, the Rocinante can access the data network. The Phoenix will dock with the base hangars and identify any flight-suitable strike craft to reinforce your air patrol. Once Juliet has been secured, the rest of the flotilla will begin procurement of the military supplies. This is our one chance to make this work. Good luck out there.
It says something that this is the only way they can do this mission, is if they had 2 pilots and 2 functional fighters. It says something about the functional status of Captain Lancaster's
Ross,
group.
McCurney. Lieutenant Wade Murphy. CAG up what passes for the Longview's fighter wing. Lancaster will probably have my head over this, but I don't know if you realize how bad things are. We're days away from running out of supplies and ammunition. Morale is rock bottom. I've done my best to scrounge together every pilot I could find for this mission. You pull this off, we can make this thing work.
Thinking of rewriting this bit as well, because it goes against Federation culture. Culture's very much a can-do attitude. We'll pull through. We'll all turn right in the end, which is just by virtue of being on top of the galaxy for several decades. So maybe the how bad the situation is hasn't quite hit them yet. There's a bit of that with Lancaster, but you can filter it to the rest of the characters as well. Because these guys are pretty much in denial. They know that their fleet's wiped out, but they still think they can win the day with reinforcements elsewhere. This one you can choose what you're going to do again. I might go the interceptor this time.
It's a police report here, Rocinante. I can't see a damn thing.
There is a lot of ash and sulfur out there. I hope our engines don't get clogged up.
Alpha Wing, you should be able to see the installation once you clear the mountain range. Move out to the nav point.
Coming up on the base now. Most of the main structures look intact. No power though.
Acknowledged. Patrol the area. We'll begin docking procedures once the area is confirmed clear.
The lighting for this mission is all done through post-processing 6Bs. Saturation was brought down and the cutoff was lowered as well.
Patrol complete. Everything looks clear, Ross and Auntie.
Oh no. Hunters on attack vector.
Okay.
Alpha, get close so we can support you with our guns.
These guys are not ready for dogfighting.
It's a police out here, Ross and Auntie. I can't see a damn thing.
There is a lot of ash and sulfur out there. I hope our engines don't get clogged up.
So really the only thing you can do in these interceptors is outrun the enemy.
Alpha Wing, you should be able to see the installation once you clear the mountain range. Move out to the nav point.
Coming up on the base now. Most of the main structures look intact. No power though.
Acknowledged. Patrol the area. We'll begin docking procedures once the area is confirmed clear.
Patrol complete. Everything looks clear, Ross and Auntie.
Oh no. Hunters on attack vector.
Alright. Let's do what this
Alpha,
thing does
get close
best.
so we can support you with our
Run
guns.
away.
Copy that. Check 6. These eyes behind you.
Hunters are best at one-on-one. The only way you can survive is when they're distracted against other targets.
Check 6. These eyes behind you. Area is clear. You okay, Razor?
Yeah, he's fine. 3%.
Well, this mission's just gotten a lot more complicated. It's a safe bet the Combined know we're here. Probably looking for the same thing we are. We need to expedite this mission before half the Combined fleet shows up. Shuttle team, begin docking sequences.
Phoenix moving to secure primary hangar facility.
No real shuttle near me to dock with power hub. Hey Ross, just want to say I'm glad you stayed behind. It wouldn't be the same without you.
Where else is there to go?
There is plenty of places, Ross. You could go back to Alba. You're well within your rights to return home.
I wouldn't abandon you here, Raptor. You're like the only family I've got left.
What about your real family? Haven't you got anyone waiting for you at home?
It's a long story. Let's just say I haven't seen my family for years.
Then I guess you'll have to tell me all about it later. That's in order, Flight Lieutenant Ross.
Yes, ma'am.
So Ross, if you really mean that I'm the only family you've got, then you know you'll always have a place to come home to. When this is all over, you should think about coming back to Erin with me. My door will always be open for you.
Thanks, McCurney. That means a lot. I'll definitely think about it and get back to you.
Phoenix and Hangar 1. There's several Vipers in storage. We've identified a couple that are flight ready. Stand by.
Ross, this is Murphy. Gamma Wing will cover your back.
We've docked with the energy hub. Looks like the backup generator is intact. Transmitting command codes to bring it online.
So are Ross and McCurney flirting, or will you forever leave that question in the air? I don't know, what does it sound like?
Good work, Uriel. Command data net powered and available for access. Downloading data now.
They're two Commonwealth soldiers out in the middle of nowhere, far from home, in a disaster area, and their base ship has gone down, so all they've got are each other.
Plus, we've got a wing inbound. We're flying light fighters.
That's all it needs to be.
You need to buy us 10 pilots. Data download won't be complete for another 2 minutes.
You get the impression that Stuart Ross is a chap who doesn't speak very...
Draw the fighters into range of the area defense.
Doesn't speak
Let the
very
turrets
much.
do the hard work.
So if he's laughing and joking with McCurney, then she definitely means something.
Delta Wing, go weapons free.
With the new fighter AI, these guys are actually a bit more of a threat, and they're more likely to take down the transports that they're targeting. And I've nerfed the base defenses a bit as well.
Solaris. That's all we can identify from here.
Ross, this is Captain Lancaster. Combined warships are en route. I need the base intact.
How many warships are we facing?
We've identified the flight cruiser Stella Polar and destroyer Venturous.
Copy that, sir. Committed to designated target.
If you can get the base heavy defenses online, you should have enough firepower to neutralize these assets.
On it, Captain Lancaster. We'll get those heavy
Copy that, sir. Committed.
I suggest we wait for Uriel to bring the heavy turrets online. We'll get shredded otherwise.
Weapons hot. Going for the merge.
Light warships on sensors.
Epsilon ready. Your net, Lima 050.
Alpha, be advised we managed to secure Hornet fighters in flight working condition.
Those Hornets will give us a strike option against the warship turrets, so use Epsilon wisely.
Heavy defense turrets are now online.
Okay, so these are probably going for the Phoenix. The Rossi.
Copy that, sir. Committed to designated target.
Since I'm flying the Interceptor, I can interact with these warships a bit better. The Valkyrie's not too bad at taking out subsystems.
Copy that, sir. Committed to designated target.
Weapons hot.
We found a heavy bomber in flight worthy condition. No nuclear armament, but it's loaded with light missiles.
Missile command now online. Javelins ready for launch.
Phoenix transport. We've lost your signal. Phoenix, respond.
So if you manage to keep Uriel alive all this time, you manage to unlock the missile silos, and from there it's an easy mission. The hardest part is over.
Weapons hot. Going for the merge.
Right, wait for the heavy cannons to take out the ship.
Captain Lancaster, enemy warships have been neutralized. Any other ships in the area?
Negative. No combined ships in orbit. What readings we can get through the atmosphere look clear. Great work. Continue combat air patrol. We will deploy more transports to secure the facility. You will be relieved when they arrive.
That was more intense than I'd like. Glad that's over.
Lieutenant Ross, this is an excellent outcome. Our crews have secured a trove of ammunition, spare parts, and military equipment. Our operational capability has increased by an order of magnitude. We took a gamble but managed to pull it off. With the destruction of the Venturaus and Stella Polar, more strain will be placed on Romanowska's remaining forces in Morik. 15 minutes ago, nuclear bombers flying off the carrier Imperatrix glassed Juliet base. Our ships had already secured all the supplies we could and took no further losses, but the base is now a tomb. I'll have my analysts decrypt the data from the Combine base at Myra. There is high-level encryption in the native data, but the algorithm is one that Federation Defense Intelligence uses. We don't have the clearance codes necessary, and we'll have to locate a counter-algorithm before we can read the data. However, what we've found only raises more questions about the nature of the Myra base, and what the Combine were doing there. As well as supplies, the Juliet hangars also contained Phantom-class stealth fighters in space-worthy condition. With some minor maintenance, they've been made mission-ready and should be available for deployment at the next sortie. Sender ID A445BV8831 Red Abbey. Lieutenant Ross. We haven't met. Let's keep it that way. Crown High Com sends its regards.
Okay, so this soundtrack is the Commonwealth briefing tracks. All the missions prior to this had the Federation briefing.
I work with Alban Naval Intelligence. I've been chasing Solaris, a Fed weapons research project that Ani got wind of a few months back. It looks like the Combine have managed to co-opt Solaris for themselves. Commonwealth Military Command has also been monitoring the situation on the Morik War front. There's reports that the entire front line is collapsing. Someone in FDI screwed up, and screwed up hard. They must have known the Combine had used their Solaris data to build their own version, but they were still blindsided.
Maybe they've got their own Solaris sitting out somewhere that's ready to go, but they weren't able to finish it in time.
We suspect that Solaris goes back all the way to the Elam War. The Federation weren't supporting the Republic out of the kindness of their hearts. The Federation wanted the Myra system, and I suspect that Combine base was actually FDI's.
It makes you wonder how the Combine managed to finish their project quicker than the Federation.
Unfortunately, the Combine destroyed the base before Ani could move in. As it turned out, we got lucky. That intel you got from Juliet is the break we needed. I'm putting together a plan to get a copy of the data to Ani. Thanks to Lancaster's terrible Operation Security, you and McCurney are in the perfect position to help us crack Solaris. The Commonwealth presumes your cooperation in this matter. Let's not ruin a good thing, shall we? Pilots, eyes up. You need to see this. We've intercepted a distress call from the Osiris, flagship of Rear Admiral Colvin and command ship of Task Force 57. The Osiris entered Morik about 10 minutes ago with the Combine Dreadnought Vindicator in pursuit. From Combine comms traffic, it looks like Romanowska has also deployed the Veritas to intercept.
Okay, so this is more capital ship combat, but this time Federation has the carrier and the Combine have the Dreadnought.
Colvin's carrier won't be able to withstand the firepower of the Vindicator and Veritas. Despite the risks, I've authorized a support mission. Ross, McCurney, you'll be Alpha Wing. Both of you are Murphy's first choices for flight duty, so I've authorized you to fly the new Phantom stealth fighters. Current doctrine states they're used best setting up ambushes against enemy strike craft and warship turrets. Use them well. Murphy, I want you to pull up the roster of who else we've got available. I want everyone capable of flying out there. EXO, set a condition 1 throughout the ship. We jump in 5 minutes.
Now these stealth fighters have cloaks as well. In theory you should be able to do some nice things with them, but I can't get Fred to flag whether the ships are cloaked or uncloaked. So stuff like recon missions and stealth missions
doesn't look good.
a bit
I'm not
difficult
sure you know this,
to do.
but Task Force 57 was stationed at Shenkuo to garrison the system against Combine attack. It was the most powerful task force in 5th Fleet, other than the Morik garrison. Our entire operation here depended on Colvin's ships reinforcing our position. If the Osiris is here, it's likely Shenkuo, and Task Force 57 have been lost. Anyway, doesn't change our mission. We need to get the Osiris out of there alive.
Obviously they're expecting the Combine to attack Morik, which has the most ships, but instead they bypassed, went to Shenkuo instead, and nuked Morik with another weapon.
I'll see you on the flight deck. I need to pep up some of the rookie pilots before we go out there. This is going to be rough.
Alright, so this is different from the Combine Stealth Fighter in that it's bigger, not as agile, and has a heavy cannon loadout as well, which makes it a bit more versatile, but not as good in a dogfight.
Osiris, this is Captain Lancaster on the long system.
This is Rear Admiral Golden. Your help is appreciated. Have your fighters screen my ship.
So the carrier model got a bit of an update as
Oh my
well.
God, Ross.
It's a bit bulkier.
This cloaking device is amazing.
It looks less like a
Doesn't it
hollow
feel
ship.
good to be on the other side of one of these things?
Admiral, get the rest of the task force station.
Negative. Shining Portal has been lost to the Combine. We're the only ones left. Where is Admiral Talia, who was in command here?
Admiral Ravajan is dead. They're surviving flag officers. The fleet lost the water is a congested system.
I see. Then be advised, Captain. As flag officer, I hereby taking command of remaining 5th Fleet assets in Marok. Tactical. I am authorizing a nuclear mission. Prep nuclear warheads in launch silos. I say again, use of nuclear weapons is authorized. We are preparing a bomber strike against the Veritas, and your fighters clear the area of any convoy strike craft.
Highway non-station. Making a tap run on where it is now.
You read area clear, hostile strike craft. Good work. Take out the point and fence through to those cruisers so the bomber can get to work.
These are the first Federation ships you see that carry ASMs. They're the carriers. We finally see some nuclear bombers on the other side. It's a nice change.
Bastard. That's where you are.
Good work. CO, set a course to engage the Vindicator. All fighters, provide close support. Captain Lancaster, I want a strike on the Vindicator's dorsal point defense turrets. I need my missiles to get through.
Carriers can take care of that one. Got a dreadnought to attack.
On my way.
System severely degraded. With support. I'm calling it right.
Admiral, we've cleared the Vindicator's point defenses.
On my way. Tactical. Launch nuclear missiles. All strike ground. Stand clear of Vindicator.
Take out the Vindicator's nuclear silo if you get the chance.
They These things aren't dedicated strikers like the Hornets, so they overheat very quickly with gappers.
Strike proud to intercept those warheads.
Copy that.
Right, our job's done. See, with regular ASMs, takes minimal damage. These things are built tough. The real way to take out capital ships is either with another capital ship, or with another battleship, or with nukes.
Rear adds combined warheads have penetrated hold several key points.
That's for Shen Kuo.
Admiral, area reads clear of hostiles. Damage reports are coming in now.
That was satisfactorily done. Captain Lancaster, bring the long view alongside to cover our flank. We'll need to find safe harbor before more combined forces arrive. What forces do we have in Mara?
The fleet suffered net total losses, Admiral. All capital ships and major units were destroyed in a combined attack. The forces I have are light garrison units, transports and strike craft, not enough to carry out sustained operations against combined forces.
Then the entire front's collapsed. Shen Kuo and Bast have fallen to the Combine. We were overwhelmed in every theater.
Admiral, we're sending out go-alert units to a secure staging point. We are ready to move out when your jump drive is charged.
We're going nowhere. Our jump drive suffered damage during the engagement. Our damaged teams are attempting repairs, but we lack critical replacement parts.
Acknowledged, Admiral. I can bring the transport to assist in your repairs. Stand by.
Cormorant Town Station, Captain Lancaster. Osiris Control. Transmit approach vector for docking.
Roger, Cormorant. Your approach is clear to starboard cargo airlock.
You know, Ross, sometimes I wonder how we managed to make it all the way here.
Well, Punchy made me promise to make sure nothing happened to you. I suppose you've been looking out for me too.
The Artemis was a good ship. I really felt comfortable there. The Prince of Cambria was just stifling.
Is that why you volunteered for the exchange program?
Yes, it wouldn't have hurt my career finishing off my stint on the Dreadnought, but I would have died from boredom.
I came over hoping to see some action. Everyone could see the war coming a mile off, but they expected it to be like the last war. This is all new. Doomsday weapons, millions dead in a single day. No one expected this.
The Federation is still fighting the Great War. They don't know how to counter this combined weapon. I don't know if the Commonwealth does either.
We'll learn from this. We've taken a beating in Morik, but we can recover. Once a counter for the Combine superweapon is found, they'll still be outnumbered and outgunned. The Combine's turn will come. When our warships orbit their capital world, we'll finish the job this time.
We still need to find a counter for Smurfy, otherwise there will be a repeat of Morik soon enough.
Cormorant confirms signal with cargo dock. Prepare to receive repair teams and heavy equipment.
Robin's carrier is on station. She must be here to finish us off.
Okay, this part of the mission was a bit brutal in the original release. Toned it down a little bit.
New targets coming in.
has launched nuclear bombers. I need a fire screen immediately.
On my way.
Check your
I'm
6.
spying. Bump this threat so I can reattack.
Gemini down.
Be a bit more lenient with your dog fighting when you're a stealth fighter, because as soon as someone targets you, preemptive scope, lost contact.
All stations, this is Laura. Prepare to jump to hyperspace.
On my way.
I need supporting elements.
Copy that.
Walk with me, Ross, McCurney. Murphy will debrief you on your performance, but I wanted to talk with you two first as the Longview CO. Admiral Colvin wanted me to pass her compliments on a job well done. The Osiris took heavy casualties but has made it to Sanctuary at Ariel Station. We have started field repairs of most of the hull damage. With luck she'll be able to fight again soon. We are left in a difficult position. The Osiris is the last survivor of Task Force 57 and the Federation has suffered defeats not only in Morik but along the entire front. Our position here has become a lot more precarious. What happens next will be up to Admiral Colvin. I will be boarding the Osiris to formally transfer command of 5th Fleet and debrief on events in Morik. The Admiral has already requested the transfer of all surviving Longview pilots and equipment to the carrier. I'll make sure both of you will come with commendations on your records. It looks as though we're reaching the end of our efforts in Morik. I don't see what else we can achieve from here. Mission successful.
Alright, I'll take a couple of minutes break. We'll be back and continue some more after this. Alright, let's continue.
Sender ID A445BV8831 Red Abbey. Heads up, Lieutenant. I've had to expedite things. Looks like Lancaster finally found someone with enough clearance to read the Moric data. What Colvin dug up is cataclysmic, if you pardon the term. Get a physical copy of the decrypted Myra data from McCurney. She'll have a backup of her own. We need to bring this to Alban Naval Intelligence. I'm getting both of you out of there. Leave everything to me. Just make sure you have the data on you when you fly out. Your tour with the Federation is over. I think this little pilot exchange turned out pretty well, don't you? Admiral Morel Colvin, CINC 5th Fleet, Moric System. This is a priority message for general dissemination. The strategic situation in Moric is deteriorating. All remaining 5th Fleet assets are to be redeployed to the ACAD system to rendezvous with Task Force 55.
If you remember, the ACAD system is where you were sent to at the beginning of the campaign. It's where the Colossus is, the rest of the task force.
Once we arrive, we will re-establish contact with Command and await further orders. Evacuation of Ariel Station will begin in 3 hours. All ship commanders are to supervise final checks for departure and prepare to receive hyperspace coordinates. Once the station evacuation has been confirmed, I will transmit authorization to jump. On arrival to ACAD, further information will be forthcoming. Until then, you have your orders. Admiral Colvin, signing off. Welcome, pilots. This is a priority operation, and I expect your full attention. The location of Ariel Station has been compromised. Combined forces have tracked the Osiris to the station and relayed our position to the Imperatrix. 10 minutes ago, the Imperatrix entered the vicinity and blockaded Ariel Station. She was accompanied by the cruiser Naga. Recon elements report more Combined ships are on the way. I am launching our remaining fighter strength to screen 5th Fleet assets against Combine attack. The Imperatrix has not yet launched a fighter or ASM strike, but Romanowska may be waiting until she can bring her full weight of arms to bear. The carrier Longview is holding the majority of the station personnel. The rest will be on board the transports Rocinante and Estella Haversham. I am holding the Osiris in position to provide area defense for the evacuation transports in Longview until the evacuation is complete. Once the evacuation is complete, our ships will have to move clear of the surrounding asteroid field before they can jump. We will likely be running a gauntlet of Combine warships. Achieving space superiority and undertaking focused strikes against the Combine warships will be necessary for successful transit. Many pilots from Longview will be flying alongside Osiris pilots today. Note that your wing allocation is determined by seniority and experience. There's not many of us left.
And again, the most experienced and senior ranked pilots aren't even from the Federation. Alright, so this is the big climactic mission of the campaign, taking into account everything that players learned in the last few missions. There'll be a lot going on.
Osiris, we are wrapping up the final stages of the evacuation. We need about 5 minutes.
All ships, make final preparations for departure. We leave in 5 minutes.
So there's a few ships here, but not many actual combat ships. Longview's
New
an
targets
actual
coming
oversized
in.
transport in this mission.
Imperatrix is launching a
There's a new
strike.
ship
Intercept those fighters.
that you haven't seen
We need to
before
find
yet.
time for the evacuation.
And basically anti-fighter, anti-missile picket. Shreds anything that gets close, but not very good against warships.
reading second strike plane launching from Infratrix.
They're heading for the transports.
Bandits on approach.
I'm in hull compromised. Attempting to eject.
Sierra Hotel.
Admiral, the now scat reinforcements are here. 5 Spectre and Red Cruiser portal.
Sit here for a bit and repair.
Gamma rolling in.
See the frigate's guns and actions.
Master Javelin strike detected. All fighters, intercept as many warheads as you can. Our point of defense will be the rest.
Priority alert. Radiological signatures from Imperatrix. EOS missiles are en route.
The first few actions of the Combine against the Federation, they're trying out many different things.
Draco strike plane destroyed.
This mission, they're testing out the point defenses of the Federation captures, seeing if overwhelming javelin firepower will get through. Then this is an effective tactic.
Delta Wing, weapons hot.
Will have implications for later missions in the campaign. So we've got two sides having fought each other for 40 years. They're just trying to work out what each one's weaknesses and strengths are, and what's the best way to go about it.
Second ASM salvo launched.
So you may see tactics change between both sides in the course of the next few campaigns.
Bandits, go, bangs out.
Ross, we've got another strike plane incoming. Same as before.
Epsilon wing is ready.
Osiris, station evacuation is complete. All personnel accounted for. Unclamping from station now.
This is the Admiral. We're moving to break the blockade. Captain, ahead full.
Heads up. New launch from Imperatrix. A wing of hunters. I say it again. We got hunters on the scene.
Now we've got a full wing of stealth fighters. Full squadron of them. And now we're finally fighting hunters on equal terms. We're in stealth fighters battle. This is payback for the other times that we fought against them.
Assistance.
This mission was changed a bit from the original version as well. It replaced one of the battle cruisers with a normal cruiser. The focus becomes now on dogfighting the stealth fighters, and I've kept the missile strikes on going throughout the mission.
Someone get this piece of shite off my back.
I'm not spending most of the mission just taking out a couple of guns on one ship.
Make that ship blow.
She's taking the meeting, sir. Last long
I'm going to take you on course. Captain, I warned every one of our missiles out there in space.
Transport jumping out now.
This is pretty natural. We're in position and we'll jump as soon as the transport's our way. Road to not be heading out.
I'm Spike. Bump this threat so I can reattack.
Transports are out, shipping jumps. Not much left in terms of engine firepower. These are all Great War cruisers, so their firepower is not as heavy as on the combined ships. Looks like they've run out of ammo, so that's why they're not firing their missiles anymore. They've got enough ammo for a couple of strikes.
And this is one direction. Where is it? Jump.
Assistance.
All strike craft. Return to the Osiris or be left behind. Rejump in 30 seconds.
This is Red Abbey. Your job is done, Kayla. Float up and meet me at the following coordinates.
Time to exfiltrate.
Let's head to the rendezvous. We need speed.
Solaris should be okay.
Everything you got, bring it on, we dare you. Nothing could compare to this.
The Osiris has jumped. I hope they all make it to Akkad safely.
And Corvette shimmers into appearance.
Mission accomplished, Agent. Looks like everything turned out well
So
for
we're not
once.
the only things with cloaking
I'm not
devices.
your agent, Abby. I'm doing this for the firm, nothing more.
Don't get snide with me, Lieutenant. It doesn't mean you can't still be useful once in a while. As long as we have enemies around, the Crown still needs people like us.
What the hell is going on? Have you got history within Raptor?
Yeah, we've got history. It's a long story.
Well, I'd appreciate you telling me all about it later.
Is that an order, Ross?
No, it's not.
Lieutenants McCurney, Ross. Commander Quinn, HMS Merlin. This is Lieutenant
so
Pace.
we're switching the
You've already met
soundtracks
him
now to
using another
Commonwealth
name.
instead of the rock and
Your
blues
mission is
soundtrack that
complete,
Federation have.
McCurney.
Commonwealth
Pace will
has
debrief
more
you.
folk
The decrypted
music,
Juliet-based data gives
Celtic
us the
music,
last clue that we
sort of
need.
thing.
A set of coordinates where we can find the source of the Federation's, now Combine's, super weapon. Your performance has been commendable and I'll note as such in your file, strictly off record, of course. We've spent the last 2 years chasing the greatest threat the Commonwealth ever faced. To be frank, it's nothing less than Armageddon. Bombing Earth in the last war wasn't enough for the Atlanteans. Now it seems their own weapons been turned against them. Unlucky sods. We've uncovered a diplomatic nest of snakes, but the politicos at home can sort that out. Our job from here is to find out what the mission successful.
Go to the next mission.
Combine censured for WMD. The Alban Commonwealth has led a coalition of nations in a censure motion against the Combine for the use of weapons of mass destruction against the Federation.
Okay, so this goes into a little bit about how the Commonwealth does things. The military is nowhere near as big as the Combines or the Federations. Their power lies in diplomacy and soft power and building coalitions. So they're counted as a great power, but they're not really a great power in themselves. They don't have the same hard power.
While the specifics of the Combine weapon remain unknown, the ongoing hyperspace interference at Morik and rumors of planetary devastation at Bulwark remain testimony to the power of this weapon. Solaris Secretary of War Viktor Isakov released a statement in response to the censure. The Solaris combined military has undertaken an act of self-defense against imminent Federation aggression. We have evidence that the Federation were planning a preemptive strike against our forces in Actium and Alphard. I regret the loss of life that has already occurred, but our actions in Morik have helped prevent significantly more bloodshed at Federation hands. The act of censure is intended to send a clear message to the Combine, that it is diplomatically isolated. It is unclear what further action the Commonwealth Parliament plans to take. Military intervention has not yet been ruled out. Lieutenant Caitlin McCurney, HMS Merlin. Stuart. I don't think I've ever called you by your first name. I just wanted to message and apologize for not telling you about my involvement with Ani. I understand if you are still upset at me. You told me it's like you can't trust me anymore, but everything I've told you, where I'm from, my family back home, it's all real. I was an intel agent a long time ago. 2 years ago I left Ani and joined up with the regular fleet. Well, I found out the hard way you can't escape the service that easily. Ani found me and used me to get to Solaris. Pace contacted me shortly after the Juliet mission and blackmailed me into assisting with his investigation. Stuart, I wanted you to know that I've been thinking a lot about home and family since our talk during the Juliet mission. I wanted to invite you to come back with me to Iron when this is all over. If you really don't have anyone to go back to, I wanted you to know you can still consider me family. Ani are bastards. All of them. But now I realize I can't just leave. I have to see this through. The Merlin has arrived in Myra. The Psychorix data describes an artifact in this system that FDI were studying prior to the Combine attack. The Federation artifact lies in a dense field of ionized gas in close orbit around the neutron star. Heavy gravitational disturbances makes this a difficult place to astrogate. The ionized gas is also playing havoc with our sensors. If you need to hide something, this would be the place. Our job is to find out the nature of this artifact, and find a way to neutralize it before more damage can be done. I've got you and McCurney on flight duty. You'll be in Commonwealth birds. Your Phantom stealth fighters have been sent for dissection and study. Due to the importance of this artifact, I'm expecting a heavy Combine garrison. I've contacted the fleet base at Gorham. They've sent what they can spare. Commonwealth reinforcements should arrive soon after we enter the area. We've overturned the log. Let's find out what critters are underneath.
Okay, so this mission is just to see how Commonwealth fights, see what weapons they have available. And if you go back and play this mission in the mission simulator, you will have access to a gunship as well, so you can have a play and see how their gunship works as well. So that's why you have, well, these weapons shouldn't be part of the loadout.
Parasite fighters cleared from the Merlin. Happy hunting.
Stay close, my little wolves. The night is dark and enemies are everywhere. Ross, I thought you'd be halfway home by now.
My reasons for staying are my own pace.
I'm glad you're here, Ross.
Why? Is it so you can keep collecting data for the file on me you're putting together?
That's unfair. How can you say that, after everything we've been through together?
After all the things you've done behind my back, why didn't you tell me, Caitlin?
I couldn't blow the operation, Ross. No one could know about it. Not even you.
Seriously, McCurney, how do you stand being around this guy? One mission and I'm already ready to cut him loose.
Keep out of this, Abby. Haven't you interfered enough already?
I re-recorded the voices for this one
Sort out your
and
domestic
used an
issues on your
algorithm
own
to give them a
time.
bit more
Both of you.
emotion.
Tell me what you see.
That's why they sound a bit more cross in this version.
I see a large structure ahead of us. It doesn't look like a natural object. No energy readings, but it's hard to get anything definitive at this distance.
That must be our target. Continue course and maintain Gorham's discipline.
Combined fighter wing on sensors. Looks like a routine patrol.
Jamming their codes. Eliminate the pilots. We need to maintain OPSEC.
Commonwealth philosophy is opposite
Yeah,
that of
leaking
the
off.
Federation. The Federation likes to
Pursue and destroy.
spam bullets. Whereas the Commonwealth have to really make each shot count. They aren't as resource rich as they are as the Federation.
All right, loose ends taken care of. You fly pretty well, Lieutenant Ross. You should consider a stint to Annie.
Don't you fucking dare, Quinn. Ross, have you given my offer any more thought?
I told you, McCurney, Fleet is my home now.
That's not healthy. You need a place away from this, where you can escape. You'll just end up destroying yourself.
You want me to come back home with you?
Yes, you told me your family's estranged, that there's no one waiting for you back at Halwa. Where else would you go?
That's for me to worry about, and none of your business, McCurney.
Fine. Suit to yourself. This is massive. Looks like two separate structures. Still can't detect any power readings from the artifact.
This is definitely not human. The Federation or Combine couldn't have built anything like this. Tactical, hit that thing with active scans. I want to know everything about this artifact.
Powering up scanners for active burst. Stand by. Commander, that sensor blast picked up several contacts in proximity.
McCurney, Ross, we've linked your sensors to the Merlins. Move out and reconnoiter the area.
In case you missed it last time.
Ross, despite
has a
everything
cloaking
that's
device.
happened, I hope you know I've still got your back.
As you find out later, depending on what weapons you can put on stealth corvettes, Commonwealth's gone a separate way from the Federation and Combine. Once the Miranda Accord is no longer in effect, and you start putting nukes on corvettes like that, all of a sudden you've got strategic ballistic missile submarines. You can park them anywhere. That will have implications in future campaigns as well.
Merlin, we've made contact with the Combine base. Multiple hostile units. One ship of unknown designation. The energy emissions on the ship don't fit any profile of Combined warship we've encountered. Unable to classify.
This is a failed state as well.
We need a scan of that unknown Combine
If you don't
ship.
scan the ship
Get
before
to
it goes, it's a
immediately,
mission fail.
before we lose this chance.
Whereas in the original release, it was just an optional objective.
Scan data coming through now. This is interesting. Very interesting.
The unknown ship is moving out, picking up an impeller spool.
Pilots, get clear of the Combine base. HMS Athena is in system. Setting up the rendezvous point.
Fighter launch from this Combine cruiser. This is Athena. We'll be entering the area shortly.
A single light cruiser. This is all we can send.
This is all that Gohan base could spare. We'll make do.
This is going to be a running theme with the Commonwealth.
Athena to Merlin. Apologies
Have
for
that
the
many
wait.
ships to spare.
You've chosen a difficult location to astrogate.
So often you're going to be outnumbered.
This is a pretty drastic step, Quinn. Has His Majesty's government decided to go to war?
And Commonwealth warfare is basically getting as much
Everything's
use
changed,
and utility
Lieutenant
out of their
Ross.
limited assets
The
as they
Miranda
can.
Accord is in tatters and the rules don't apply anymore.
The rules-based international order has been shaken up. It's everyone for himself now.
All ships, be advised we are moving out to engage the combined forces. Fighters, support our approach. Merlin, we would appreciate any fire support you could provide.
That's a lot of firepower out there, Merlin. I don't know if the Athena is enough to win this engagement.
You underestimate us. I don't plan on letting the Athena die out here today.
Disruptor missile away. All pilots, stay clear of the blast radius.
Was that the move to the entry located?
As I said, Lieutenant, the rules no longer apply.
My defense laser turrets are a lot more accurate in this release as well. Balancing is still a work in progress.
Simultaneously neutralized. Combined warship systems powering up again. Expect full combat readiness in 20 seconds. Merlin, the combined ship harbour just transmitted a powerful energy pulse. Can you confirm? Nuclear detonations detected in proximity.
They've seeded the artifact with warheads. That pulse must have been a detonation signal.
What the hell was that?
My God. The artifact is powering up.
We're in hyperspace.
We're back in normal space. Astrogation, get us a fix on our location.
Is that a black hole? Where the hell are we?
I might rewrite some of this later dialogue because the implication is that they've travelled 500 light years, a journey that will normally take months,
Commander,
and they've
we're
done it
in
in a few
the
seconds.
system. Closest inhabited system is Zykenfish, 50 light years away.
Zykenfish. That's in arid territory. We are 500 light years away from Mirror.
So we've basically crossed maybe 2/3 the
How did we
entire
get here?
colonised Terran space along the
Data
Orion arm.
analysis complete. The artifact absorbed the power output of the detonations and generated a localized hyperspace bubble. Gravitational sensors are picking up a new hyperspace lane from here to Mirror.
The Combine wanted to deny us the artifact by destroying it. I don't think
And
the
the artifact
activation was
used
intentional.
the neutron star and this black
Ross,
hole as an anchor, just because of the
Your
huge
fighters to
gravitation.
Merlin.
Yes.
Astrogation will plot a course to the nearest Commonwealth base. Our mission is complete.
Okay, text was supposed to show up. I'll have to fix that.
Welcome back, Lieutenant Ross. You performed your mission to expectation. Unfortunately, it didn't have the outcome we desired. Federation Defense Intelligence were studying an alien relic. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Combine NAV and somehow found out about Federation experiments and used overwhelming military force to kick FDI out of Myra and steal their research data. The Combine superweapon at Morik was designed using alien technology. That ship we encountered at the artifact must have been Solaris given form. Ideally, we would have wanted to gain control of the artifact. The botched attempt by the Combine to destroy the artifact instead created an artificial hyperspace junction. The artifact is out of our reach, for now. This is where we part ways. You're to transfer to the Athena effective immediately. Captain Fisher is aware and will make the necessary arrangements. She'll drop you off at the Akratiri system. From there you can make your way back home. I've made the necessary amendments to your service record. You'll have a cover story to explain your absence to the relevant authorities regarding your Federation exchange tour. I'd lay low for the next few weeks just to be safe. Lieutenant McCurney is accompanying you back home. We have
So
no
very
more
well
need
to
of
send
her
them back
services.
home, but Ross doesn't have a home to go
Everything
back
you've learned
to.
in the past 24 hours is classified top secret. We're dealing with advanced non-human technology that is beyond anything that our species has encountered or created. No one knows what this technology is fully capable of, but it won't stay secret for long. Before word gets out, we need to make sure we get as much advantage as we can. This artifact may be the factor that escalates this conflict beyond the Federation and Combine. This goes beyond old grudges, resources and national pride. The stakes have become too high. Everyone's now fighting for survival.
Okay, so that's pretty much
Mission
it.
successful.
So the theme of this campaign is they attempted to use diplomacy to stop people from blowing each other up with weapons of mass destruction, and everything was kept in a balance up until when they actually weren't with this new technology. But next campaign will basically deal with how everyone's dealing with a chaotic international picture. And I think I'll stop it from there, and we'll go, and I think this weekend I'll go through bits of the second campaign. Now I'll just leave it for the credits.